Well, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in. This is another video on the continuation of building the addition onto our house. And today's the end of the first day of backfilling. A job that I kind of loathe because it's got to be done correctly. And just can't dump all the dirt in and walk away. It's got to go in, be compacted in layers. I got the foam around the inside up to that level. That level is actually the bottom. The top of that foam is the bottom of there'll be 4 inches of foam on top of the floor, which will go on top of that. As you can see here, it's not quite up to snuff, but it's getting close. I called it a day. And you can see I've had to use the straight edge to figure out exactly where things are high. And it's close, but we're gonna get it. I'm gonna get it perfect. Anyway, here's the chimney pedestal. That blue line is the finished grade. This is going to get scraped down and topsoil up to there. On the sides, this blue line is actually a taper. I think it drops 3 inches along the building because I want that grade that I'm filling to be 8 inches below it, because we're going to put a rubber liner in here and a pipe and gravel, the stone on top of it, and that's how we're going to collect the water off the roof. So it'll drop into that bed of stones, into the pipe, and down here. And we haven't figured this one out yet, but so I can't fill right to the blue line. But tomorrow I'll get the excavator. I got to move that pile of stones so that I can get the tractor around the corner. I basically have gotten as far as I can over there that way with the tractor. That's it. And this side that's how far along it is. So it's coming along. This is something it's a lot of hand work because can't get the machine in there, and that's all. That's it. That's what I've got left is my hands, shovels, rakes, you name it. All right, I'll probably film the end of tomorrow. We'll see how far I get. Don't fall in the hole. Actually, there is no more hole. I filled it all in. Yesterday, I finished this up. It was another 7-hour day, so it took me 14 hours to get this all backfilled, compacted correctly, the foam in place. So the plan is I still need a little bit more dirt in here, but once this is completely leveled out to the top of the foam, I got to set that rock over there, and I got to take that door and window out and cut out a little bit of the concrete wall, because there's a closet that comes out 24 inches, and from there over it's got to be removed. And once that's all taken out, I can call the floor people and have them get on their list. I've had time to think about this, and so here's the plan. As you can see, I've got 6mm plastic taped along the top and all the corners in there. And the next step I'm going to do is I'm going to put 2 inches of foam on there, and then behind the stone here I've got a piece of that 1/2 inch, what is it, 4x5, 3x5 cement board. I'm going to put that over the top of this. So my plan is to get as much done as I can before I call the people to call for cement, the cement floor. And they may say, oh, we can come tomorrow. So I want to get all of this plastic and foam all the way around, and the top plate, the 2 top plates on, the pressure treated and the 4x8 pine. And so I'll be left with basically the inside without plastic. That's if it rains. If I put the plastic down and tape it all off, we end up with a swimming pool. And if I put the foam down on top of that, it all floats around. That's what happened on the main house. And we walked in there the next morning ready for the pour, and all the foam was floating around. It was awful. Yeah, I don't even want to tell you what we had to do. But this time I want to get all of the perimeter done, and right before they come, we can put the plastic on the floor and put tape all around and throw the foam down. It'll be good to go. So the plan, like I say, we're going to put foam down here. And I didn't care if it came right to the top, because I'm actually going to spray foam that after to try to get a nicer, tighter fit. And we'll get this all the way around the building and the inside. So that's the plan, because I want to get that stone in here today. I bought a new toy and I want to try it out and try to get this stone completely set today or tomorrow. So I don't have to think about this. I can move on to something else. And I'm still struggling with a cold. Everybody says you should go to the doctor, but I'm too damn stubborn. All right, I'm gonna work out in the sun and get as much as I can done. I forgot to add something. So we're gonna put this plastic in here below and behind the foam to keep the radon out, potential radon gas coming from the ground up into the house, and to keep any of the moisture from the soil from wicking into the house. So I decided to put the foam on the inside so I don't have to treat the outside of the building. That's considered done. And the other thing is having the outside exposed. If this wall is sitting in water, the ground's wet, since the concrete is porous, it'll have a chance to migrate up the wall and evaporate on the outside of the building. That's my plan, is to try to keep I don't want to seal the wall up. I want it to be able to breathe just like everything else, but I want it to breathe outside and not to the inside of the building. Hopefully that adds a little bit more clarity. All right, I got a piece of hardy board in there, concrete, 1/2 inch concrete board. The plan is to get the stone to go up against that tight. I got a few new things. Got a new tripod. This is tripod number 3. The other 2 are really junk, and finally I found one that's heavy duty and hopefully will last. And the other thing I just bought a Husqvarna cutoff saw with a diamond blade on it. And it's what is it? What's the make here? It's a K770 Husqvarna, gas powered, with water cooling system on it. I thought about renting stuff, but I've got, after this stone, hopefully this blade will cut through that. It's supposed to. I've got a lot of patio blocks and some other concrete stuff. I've got to cut through the concrete wall over there. And actually, the more I think about it, the more projects I already have in mind that this is going to be used for. So there we go. I'm going to put it on the put you on the new tripod and see if I can get this thing to cut some stone. Well, okay, let's try this again. All right, I knew I couldn't cut all the way through, but I'm gonna get a sledgehammer and just break that off, so hold on. All right, I think I'm going to try to take another cut across there. See if I can get some more of that off. I don't know. I think I might try and take one more little closer pass to see if I can get some more off of there. All right, I think a little bit of cleanup, because it's gonna tip up and a lot of that stuff will never be seen. It'll be up against the wall. So I'm gonna spend some time cleaning that last little bit I can't get with that deal, and we'll go from there. I'll show you the next step. I'm gonna take some time and fuss with it. It's not right. It's got to go down. All right, there it is. It actually, the whole thing could drop like 2 inches. I actually just shimmed the back with rocks on both sides. It's not completely level. I might fuss with it. It's got to tip down a little bit. You have to understand that there's going to be 8 inches, 4 inches of foam, and then another 4 inches of concrete wrapped around. So most of the rock will be exposed, which is what I was really hoping for. And That's as good as I can get it. I can't get it any closer. Kristen's like, there's a big gap there. I'm like, you don't understand how hard it was just to get to that point. Oh, anyway, that's where the chimney's gonna sit. I think it's just this side of the center. All right, I got stuff all over me, all over the tripod. My new tripod's dirty, and I think I'm done for the day. The goal was to get this rock kind of in place, so. All right, it is not pretty, but I'm gonna take the time to keep working it up and under the stone, and I think that is, get this off of here. That's called good enough. It's got good support all the way underneath it, right down to the footing. So I got to get that side. This side here is slumping down. When it sets up just a little bit, I'll push it back up in there. And then of course there's foam and then concrete floor all wrapped around it, so I don't think it's going to go anywhere. All right, I got all the plastic taped to the walls and out at least a foot. I got some foam cut. I'm going to start putting the foam around just like behind the rock. Tape it to the walls, and that's as far as I can go with this stuff. All right, I got the foam in place. You see it's low. Like I said before, it doesn't matter. Once the pressure treated plate goes on, I'll just spray foam that. That way I didn't have to try to get them perfect. The spray foam will take care of it. This is the last piece. I can't put it in till tomorrow when I take that door out, and that piece of pressure treated. And that's the last piece of foam for the walls. So we're only going to have R10. That's R10 for 2 inches. I don't want to add another layer because I don't want to make the room any smaller. You know, that's just a consideration. Do I put another 2-inch layer on there, or do I think we're just going to live with it. So all right, this is actually, this is very close to being ready for concrete. Tomorrow after I get this ripped out, I'm gonna call the concrete people and get on the list. So that's awesome. This is the last bit of concrete and another sub out of the way. Well, I figured I better film something. I spent 3 hours so far Got the door out, the window out, and they're both in really good condition. I didn't have any problems getting them out. And I'm gonna, obviously the door goes here, the window goes at the other end of the building. I wanted to film this now because I'm gonna put up plastic on the inside and then get the saw out and try to cut this concrete. So the I think how this happened, maybe, I don't know, I might have to cut the bottom too. I don't remember how it all went in. I know that originally this wall here didn't exist over to about here, and same over there, so that I could get the tractor in and out. And then I poured these stub walls in here to form the doorway. So I might pull that piece of foam off and see where the concrete goes. There's either a cold joint here or there's one down 4 inches below it. So it's going to be fun getting that out of there. It's only concrete, so I'll cut as much as I can, and I may end up having to get my masonry drill and drilling out along the edge, and then take a big sledgehammer and see you later. Bye. Well, I think it worked pretty good. I gotta get a cold chisel and get that corner knocked out. But I only cut back to there because this is a closet and there's no reason to cut the rest of that out. I'm gonna put, you can see that concrete is pretty crappy. When I poured these little tiny walls in here, I had some leftover cement, and I should have just used new cement. It's not really load bearing. The load is over there on a post on some really good concrete. So anyways, that's huge. That's the opening into the cellar from the walk-in breezeway, for the breezeway. All right, I'm gonna clean up all this mess and go eat lunch. Well, if you can see, there's the light in here. That's the opening for into the breezeway. I got the concrete cleaned up down here pretty good, and I can't see too well, but there's a bunch of wires that are all just wiring it off. Let me give you a shot of the outside. All right, there it is. Taking that window out wasn't so bad, so taking those two windows out and swapping them around like I was saying, that I don't think that's going to be a big deal. All right, what we're looking at is the original cellar floor, and that was the doorway. They poured it into the doorway, and I don't like that crooked edge, so I figure why not. I'm going to take the saw and we're going to cut on the far side of the blue tape, and I don't know, we're going to cut down, I'll probably even cut a second line through here and just try to break it off down somewhere below that the top of the floor. Now, I debated whether I should pin the new floor into the old floor, but I think by cutting that back and creating a little step there, that's called good enough. So let me get the saw all set up, and we'll make some saw cuts. All right, we have what I was trying to get is some kind of a straight edge across here. Now that was where there was an anchor, some rebar put in there when I broke this out. I think I'll fill that with mortar, and I'm not worried about this because the closet, which is 24 inches, comes to here, so that'll be covered up. And unfortunately we had one little breakout here, but I think it's better than it was. And so the new floor will come across and land right onto there on that ledge. I'm debating whether I should cut that down, right down. This is the wall and the floor was 4 inches thick. Should I cut that 4 inches right off of there? Kind of, it's a messy job, but maybe I'll do that. All right, I think that was well worth it, cutting that down to, this is the actual stem wall that goes down 4 feet. So we'll have a nice 4-foot lip hanging on top of that. That should keep those, when they polish both floors, they should keep that nice and even. And a relatively straight line across. That's really what I was aiming for. And there's some of the old floor. Oh, what a mess. This saw works great. I already got a bunch of other projects that I'm going to be using it for, but it cuts through concrete like nobody's business. So, all right. With that, this is really the end of this video. And hopefully in the next video we'll have a floor poured. Moving on to all kinds of other things, maybe even some woodworking. All right, thanks for watching. I'm gonna go get cleaned up.